Alright, hi guys, welcome to this week's What I've Learned, a weekly YouTube series where I share some of what I've learned this week in physical education. So this week I've had a really good week teaching actually. It's been a bit of a strange week because I'm waiting for my wife to give birth to our child, which is obviously very exciting but also waiting a long time. So
Is Miss Arnold here?
no, she's not. Sorry about that. At school at the moment. Yeah, so I've been waiting for my wife to give birth. That's been obviously very exciting, but still waiting. So hopefully very soon. But it's been a good week of teaching. We've been doing a lot of innovation games over the last week with my grade 3 classes, and I've been able to do some assessments. Now, last week in What I've Learned, I shared with you some of the assessment tools that I was using with the students in terms of the passing and catching assessment, as well as some of the other game maps that I've been using. This week I've used a lot more game maps, and I've used them in some different ways, so I wanted to share with you how I was doing that. So here's an example of one of the game maps that I used with my students this week. You can see it there. So the idea was that students were marking on the map where the person that they were watching was when they received the ball. So you can see here, for example, these blue X's represented where the player was when they caught the ball. So the first time that they watched, that's all they were doing. They were looking at, could they mark on the map where the player was? We were looking for patterns in play. Was a player receiving the ball in certain spots as opposed to other areas? So that was the first time they watched. The second time they watched, what they did was they not only drew an X for where the player was when they caught it, but they also added an arrow to show where they passed it after they had caught it. So again, we were looking at where then, once the player received the ball, what were they going to do once they had the ball? Was this player doing a lot of short passes, long passes? Were the passes in an attacking direction, in a defensive direction? So looking at this one, we can see that this player actually got the ball quite a bit during the game and really favoured sort of short passes. There were not very many long passes for this player. I'll show you another example. Here's another one here. Again, you can see the sorry, trying to hold it up. So the black marks were just the first time that we did it, marking where she was when she caught the ball, and then the pink arrows are showing where the passes went. So again, you can see this player got quite a bit of the ball and was favouring more long passes, and all of her passes were in an attacking direction, apart from this one down here, which was in a defensive direction. Because she was backed into a corner. So again, the whole idea behind these game maps was that we were just trying to get students to visually see what they were doing when they were a part of the game. These were done as peer assessment, so one student was watching another student as they were playing and then filling in these maps. So I found that it worked really, really well with my students. They really enjoyed doing it, and it really helped them to understand their performance within games. They could definitely see what they were doing when they had the ball. So that was one way that I used game maps this week. Another way that I used was with my grade 2 students who were doing a striking and fielding games unit. Now, if you've ever seen cricket before, if you watched cricket on TV, you might have seen the idea of the wagon wheel showing where the batsman hits the ball every time they go. And I thought about adapting that for one of the games that my students were playing. We were playing a version of continuous cricket. If you haven't seen continuous cricket before, if you go to the blog post, which I'll share in the comments, so iPhys-Ed.com /game maps, you'll be able to see a link to continuous cricket. Now, we were playing that with a ball, and rather than hitting the ball with a cricket bat, the students were kicking the ball, so it was continuous kick ball, I guess. But the idea was that what I was doing was, every time the students kicked the ball, I was trying to get them to understand that it was important as to where they kicked the ball, because what I was finding was that a lot of my students were just stepping up to kick and kicking the ball out into the field without thinking about where a good place to kick it was, where a place to kick it where they'd be able to score more runs, so trying to kick it away from the fielders. So what I did was, while they were playing, every time somebody stepped up to kick, I used this Paper 53 app on the iPad. I know it's a little bit shiny, I'm trying to get it in there, but you can sort of see what I've done is drawn lines every time the students have kicked the ball, where they've kicked the ball. So you can see in this case there was quite a variety of different places that the student kicked the ball, and they were quite successful. They scored quite a few runs, but we talked about, well, which of these kicks or which of these shots was more successful, where we were able to score more points, which of those made it difficult for you to score points. So using this game map really helped the students to understand more about where it was that they should be kicking the ball when they were playing. So that's sort of how I used game maps this week. Like I said, it was really, really useful. I found the students really got a lot out of it, and it helped me as a teacher sort of be able to assess the students. I have blogged about it at iPhys-Ed.com, so if you go to iPhys-Ed.com/game map, so iPhys -ed.com/game maps, GAMEMAPS, you can find out lots more about it. So for this week, that's what I've learned in my teaching about game maps. I hope that that's helpful to you, and if you are using game maps in your classes or something similar, I'd be really, really interested to see it. So feel free to share them with me through any of our social media, and I'd be happy to see what you guys are doing and share some feedback on how you're doing it, and maybe I can learn something from you as well. So thank you so much again for listening. Hope everyone at Shape Boston is having an amazing time. Really wish that I could be there. Looking forward, I'm on break for the next 2 weeks and expecting the baby, so don't expect any more what I've learned for the next couple of weeks, as I will be very, very busy being a new dad. Until next time, I'm Nathan Horn from iPhys-Ed.com, and thanks for watching.